The Super Bowl was supposed to confirm what everyone already believed. Drake May wasn't just a rising star, he was the future. MVP runner-up. The quarterback analysts were already projecting into January for the next decade. This was supposed to be validation, the moment the league officially handed him the keys. By halftime, he had 48 passing yards, 6 sacks, 8 punts and 9 drives. On 3 different snaps, he drifted directly into pressure that wasn't even disguised. On another, he double-clutched a wide-open slant and absorbed a hit instead of letting it go. The pocket wasn't just collapsing, it was compressing his timeline. This wasn't a rookie making aggressive mistakes. This was hesitation. Seattle didn't just win matchups. They removed certainty. And once certainty is gone, quarterbacks start playing fast instead of right. This wasn't a bad performance. It was dismantling. Everyone will frame that season as Sam Darnold's redemption story. The comeback arc, the efficiency jump, the stability. That's surface level. The real story was the defense. Number 1 in points allowed, number 1 in EPA per play, number 1 in defensive DVOA. Those aren't complimentary stats. That's structural control. Disguised pressures, late rotations. Corners blitzing from depth. Fronts shifting after the protection call. They didn't just line up and rush. They manipulated information. This wasn't a hot streak. This was design. And by February, it had broken the league's most hyped quarterback. In January, none of this felt inevitable. The offensive coordinator was fired, publicly, abruptly. The direction wasn't working. The run game never materialized. The identity felt incomplete. Then Geno Smith was traded. The quarterback who had stabilized the franchise was gone, and in came Darnold, immediately labeled a bridge. Temporary, replaceable, a placeholder until something better came along. Win totals were cautious. Analysts questioned the offensive line. The division still ran through proven contenders. San Francisco was loaded. Los Angeles had star power. Seattle felt like a middle chapter. This wasn't framed as a championship roster. It was framed as transition. New system, new quarterback, uncertain ceiling. No one was circling Seattle as a February threat. No one thought this would be the team that reshaped the NFC. What made them different wasn't star power. It was control. Pre-snap, nothing was honest. Safeties showed too high and rotated late. Corners pressed and bailed. Linebackers walked into pressure looks and dropped out at the snap. Protection calls were made against one picture and answered by another. Devin Witherspoon didn't just cover, he attacked timing. Leonard Williams collapsed the interior, eliminating escape lanes. DeMarcus Lawrence manipulated edges and forced quarterbacks to drift into angles they didn't anticipate. And drifting is where mistakes live. They pressured without selling out. They disguised without gambling. They rushed 4 and made it feel like 6. They showed 6 and brought 4. The point wasn't chaos, it was hesitation. Quarterbacks weren't diagnosing coverage. They were reacting late, and late in the NFL feels like panic. This is how you get 6 sacks without blitzing recklessly. This is how you force 8 punts and 9 drives. This is how a future MVP looks unsure before halftime. Seattle didn't just rush, they removed certainty. The shift didn't happen gradually, it happened under pressure. The loss to the Rams was the crack in the armor, 4 interceptions, protection confusion. For the first time all season, Seattle looked reactive instead of controlling. The narrative flipped overnight. Maybe they were good but not great. Maybe the ceiling was capped. That game forced a decision. Stop trying to win pretty. Start winning inevitable. The offense simplified. The defense tightened. Field position became a weapon instead of an afterthought. If the opponent had to drive 75 yards, they would have to earn every one of them. A few weeks later came the takeover. The defense didn't just stall drives, it ended them. A defensive touchdown swung momentum. Another takeaway buried hope. Third downs became traps. Protection calls were bait. The more opponents adjusted, the more Seattle anticipated. Opponents weren't just losing field position, they were losing belief. And when Seattle clinched the #1 seed, it wasn't with spectacle, it was with suffocation. Long drives from opponents that ended in field goals or punts, controlled possessions, clock management. No panic, no desperation. By mid-season, offenses weren't attacking Seattle. They were surviving. The playoffs didn't reveal a new gear. They confirmed the hierarchy. In the divisional round, the quarterback never settled. Pockets collapsed from the interior. Blitzes arrived late from depth. Coverage rotated after the snap, stealing first reads. Every third down felt longer than it was. The rush didn't look frantic, it looked timed. Then the NFC Championship. Fourth down, season hanging. No reckless zero blitz, no all-out gamble. Edge pressure contained, interior push disciplined. Coverage leveraged perfectly inside the sticks. The throw had nowhere to land. Incomplete. They didn't need miracles. They manufactured inevitability. This wasn't momentum. It was structural control reaching its peak. For 2 weeks, the build-up to the Super Bowl was about destiny. The Patriots' rise, the young quarterback ahead of schedule, the idea that this was the beginning of a long era. Then the ball was snapped. Protection calls didn't hold. Edges collapsed faster than expected. Defensive backs showed pressure late and arrived untouched. On multiple third downs, May hit the top of his drop and hesitated, just long enough for the pocket to disappear. 6 sacks, 8 punts in 9 drives, 48 passing yards in the first half. This wasn't exotic gambling. It was layered control. Show too high, rotate late. Sugared pressure, drop out, bring heat from depth. Rush 4, win with leverage. Take away the first read, squeeze the second, punish the third. Every snap forced doubt. Every doubt added a hitch. Every hitch turned into contact. By the third quarter, the numbers began to inflate. Soft coverage, prevent looks, short completions that made the stat line look competitive. The box score softened what actually happened. But the damage was already done. They didn't just win, they erased the narrative. For years, the league has tilted toward offense. Spread formations, space creation, explosive plays over sustained drives, quarterbacks protected by rules and rhythm. Seattle went the other direction. Hybrid coverage shells, pressure without recklessness, discipline over chaos, field position leveraged like a weapon, make you drive the long field, make you convert 3rd and 8 repeatedly, make you stay patient against a defense built to test it. They didn't chase splash plays, they engineered hesitation. If this becomes the blueprint, if layered disguise and controlled aggression become the model, the NFL just tilted back toward defense. And that shift won't be comfortable for quarterbacks raised on certainty. If you want breakdowns that go deeper than highlight reels, subscribe.